Hi, Greg. Thank you for having me. I have Hashimoto's. It's been managed for 20 years. It's been a
Okay.
non until this last year, and I had a serious car accident and I
Uh,
broke my neck, and then I was treated for long COVID. So it seems to be flared up. A lot of neurological stuff, restless leg,
so
restless.
so when you say you broke your neck, like the body of the vertebrae or the transverse or spinous processes, what got broken?
I had a hangman's fracture. It was a break
Okay.
through the vertebra and through the pedicles.
Okay.
Okay. Um, so that restlessness, anxiety, and just this revving feeling um, has been the symptoms of the flare-up. So
How long ago did this happen?
almost exactly a year ago was the accident.
Okay. And the anxiety started immediately afterwards and got a little worse, or just kind of stayed the same?
No, the anxiety's been building over the
Yeah.
last couple
Okay.
months. Yeah. So,
And how much pain are you in?
um, well, I have a pain in my right ankle. It's from the accident. It's from my body readjusting to everything and having to wear a brace for 3 months. So the only pain I really have is in the right ankle. That
And is it sharp pain or dull, achy pain? Like what kind of pain is it?
it's kind of nervy, and
Okay, so like a sharp pain.
yeah, and it travels. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and how's your sleep?
Broken.
Broken
Not.
sleep.
Yeah.
And how's your breathing? Do you feel like you breathe kind of short, rapid breathing, or are you able to take long, slow, deep breaths?
I think probably short and rapid.
Yeah, I mean that goes with the kind of stuff that you got going on, the pain and the injury. So, so your concern is the Hashimoto's or just the overall?
I think the overall just
Yeah,
yeah, just getting readjusted after this.
right.
Yeah.
So, basically, like a lot of times after an injury or an accident like this, or sharp pain, or excessive amounts of inflammation, your body naturally goes into like a red alert mode. It's not fight flight how like when you see something scary or feel something scary, but it's like your body is struggling with something and basically an injury happened and you did have something scary happen. You had an accident and you broke your neck and all those things. And so there's like a series of things that happen or like a cascading effect that happens after something like that happens. And you have all the signs like the poor sleep and the anxiety and you're still dealing with pain. And so as weird as it sounds, like if we just look at the thyroid and the Hashimoto's for a second, you know and I'm sure Robert's taking notes for this. So we'll also cut this out, like this little excerpt, and give you the video. So don't feel the need to write things down unless you want to. But um, um, so right off the bat, I'd say, with the Hashimoto's, the use of like clove oil, you'd have to take it internal, just like maybe a couple of drops twice a day, like in water. It will have a very strong balancing effect on the thyroid, especially when there is, an autoimmune component. But, there's different reasons and there's different causes of what can accelerate the autoimmune response. And here we're talking about Hashimoto. And, you know, we don't really think of like the muscular system as contributing to something like thyroid function or an autoimmune issue. But if you think about, we're trying to shoot for deeper vagal tone, and vagal tone is your body's ability to rest and repair. And it is what balances out fight flight. And so when we have an injury here, these two parts of the nervous system kind of do like a push and pull. And so what happens a lot of times with these injuries is we lose vagal tone. And so your nervous system doesn't have the ability to push and pull. It's just always got its foot on the gas pedal of fight flight, and you really can't get out of it because you don't have the vagal tone to pull yourself out of that. And it's just something that happens to the body. So things that can make that worse are, like, for one, the pain response, and so there's ways of calming down the vagal tone aspects specific to um, the pain and the injury, and that you're not having as much pain in the neck and everything is good. It sounds like you probably have it in the ankle, and my guess is it's probably maybe even radiating down the leg and showing itself in the ankle. But I would even say there might be a leg issue, even a hip and low back component. Even if there's not, we can just say it's the ankle, but there's still a pain issue there. I would also do something where, because if you think of what vagal tone is, it's it's the opposite of stress, but in your body. So basically, like, you have an injury. Another way of saying that is that area of your body got super stressed out because of an injury. Your ankle is super stressed out because it has pain. Even when the body has misalignments, like where a hip's elevated or a shoulder is elevated, you could say whatever you want about it, but part of what's happening is that your body has a kind of stress response or stress because of these misalignments. And so if if enough of you're dealing with the muscles and you're dealing with the voluntary part of your nervous system, which is the somatic nervous system, which makes everything move, and you go, okay, I'm gonna walk across the room or I'm gonna do whatever. Part of what happens is that the the fight, flight, and the rest and repair will kind of work its way up and start impacting the somatic part of the nerves. It's like it's this chain reaction, right? And so we don't really think about, like, how the muscular system can contribute to immunity and your immune response, and even the nervous system and aspects like this. And so I would say improving vagal tone and the pain response, improving vagal tone for the muscular system. And then with the injury, with pain, with all the things that we're talking about, part of what happens with the pain response, the inflammatory response, the trauma response from the accident itself is that your bronchioles go into a constricted mode. And so, part of what's happening there is then that keeps making your breath more shallow, more rapid, which is exaggerating all these problems. And as much as you try to take a deep breath, your body's not really able to do that. And if you're breathing shallow and rapid, it increases the tension in the diaphragm, and it increases anytime there's increased tension in the diaphragm, you're automatically increasing the tension in your spinal muscles. Like, basically there's more pressure on the spinal nerves. And it's, as much as you try to relax and everything, your body just will not cooperate. And so I would say there's a few markers that I would say. I don't want to overwhelm you with things to address, but if I was to go at, like, trying to nail, like, just an overall thing to address, is I'd use clove to try to balance out the thyroid. Um, there's things that we can do for the pain response, the vagal tone for the pain. There is a blend for that, but if we were shooting for um, uh, like a single oil, probably your best bet would be like Mandarin Petitgrain. But I don't know. I kind of feel like the pain vagal tone would be a good good shot for you. And then I don't think we have this on the site, but I can make it for you, or you can just use one of the single oils that Robert probably already has on hand. And it's basically vagal tone for the muscular system. So we're trying to increase the rate of repair in the muscular system. And I think that will also contribute to better immune function and better thyroid function. As weird as that sounds, like Orthodox medicine wouldn't put those two things together, although thyroid issues a lot of times are reflected in body tension and like cramping, and they can still contribute to muscular issues. And so there's that blend, but one of the ones that you could use for that, Robert, is tarragon. She can inhale it, put it in an ointment, put it on topically, or she can take a few drops internally. Um, so I would say those three things. I mean, of course, I'd want to address the ankle and potentially the leg to reduce pain. Probably like the pain soothe would be a thing to do, Robert. But like I'd probably treat the whole leg and maybe even the hip. I suspect, because it's very common, like when people have a neck injury or like a whiplash, that eventually, like the head and the hips will mimic each other. And so if there's been a disturbance up in the neck, eventually it's going to manifest in the low back and hips. And so, it's very common with whiplash that, at first it might just be the neck, but eventually some sort of disturbance happens in the lumbar or down into the hip socket. And so I would treat that as well, and then the last being like deep in the breath. And so large hyssop, hyssop decumbens, all the things that we'd use for deepening the breath. And Robert has a list of these things that, glad to give you more information, but I think Robert has that probably nailed already. And so if you target those things, pain vagal tone, muscle vagal tone, the thyroid, balancing that out with the clove, hit the pain down the leg, and then deepen the breath. Usually, deepening the breath will reduce sharp stabbing pain or nerve pain anywhere from 30 to 50%, just right off the bat, because you're by deepening the breath, for one, you're taking pressure off the spinal nerves, but you're also starting to shift that body out of the fight flight or sympathetic nervous system component where the body is in a stress state because of the injury. You start shifting your body out of that. And even if you didn't have all these injuries, sharp stabbing pain, usually within 2 to 4 weeks, will start to produce bronchial spasms. So basically your bronchioles start to go into a tightness and you start to have more short and rapid breathing. And so if you kind of address those things, um, uh, the body should start feeling better. And I would say the thyroid would be more easily balanced with either medication or, yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And, if Robert has any questions, he knows how to get a hold of us and, we can give you like how to do it. But, the muscle vagal tone, the pain vagal tone, you could just do with inhalation. The clove, you would need to do internal. The thing for opening up the bronchioles, you could just do through a lot of inhalation. And then the pain soothe would just be a topical like application. Ointment would be my first choice, but you know, either way.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg.